Phoenix Rising by Rob Harper and Jack Fike. Episode 1.
The Earth was in bad shape. The environment was in shambles. Whole areas of the planet had been rendered uninhabitable. Living in space had become the only option. A volunteer program had been set up to create a generational ship which would travel to the nearest Earth-like planet to colonize and make it ready for further habitation. Years in the making, a massive ship was built in orbit. 16,000 people boarded the Phoenix and set off for the stars. 15 years into its flight, all contact with the Phoenix ceased. A few decades went past, and the flight of the Phoenix went into history. The Earth slowly recovered and new technologies were created, solving many of the issues that plagued our planet. One incredible invention was the discovery of a means for faster-than-light travel by one Professor Hiram Arkham of Miskatonic University. Dubbed the Arkham Drive, this newfound technology reinvigorated the idea of colonizing other planets, and once again a ship was created to go to the closest habitable planet and to discover what happened to the Phoenix. The Phoenix was somewhere between Earth and its final destination, and the new ship, named the Nalarthotep, would be able to catch up to it in a matter of weeks if it stayed on course. The Nalarthotep would be crewed by the best and the brightest, all genetically perfect and all ready to build new worlds. Led by the most decorated captain in all of the fleet, Nathaniel West, the Nalarthotep was just about ready to launch.
Sir, Commander John Arkham, reporting for duty.
Captain West looked over his new first mate with a keen eye. He didn't like this last-minute replacement of his old first mate and best friend, but it had been done.
Commander, at ease. I am aware of your record, Arkham. I saw what you did while you commanded the Blue Nose. Brave stuff, but I also know who your father is, and I know why you're assigned to such a high-profile position with such little experience.
Sir, I assure you.
It's okay, Arkham. I'll give you a chance to prove yourself. I'm a fair man, and I won't hold the fact that your father invented the Arkham Drive against you. Just don't make me regret that trust.
I will prove myself, sir.
Captain West looks deep and hard into Arkham's eyes. He knows it was political that Arkham was put up to replace his friend, but his friend did fail the genetic checks, and he had a predilection to Parkinson's disease, a curable and not mission-threatening trait, but one that disqualified him for the mission. A new first officer was chosen, and John Arkham was it. He had commanded a space frigate known as the Blue Nose. When a rogue asteroid surprised everyone and threatened the Earth, Arkham had been the first to respond. He landed on the asteroid and diverted it with much risk to himself and his crew, but he had saved the Earth. This made him a populous hero, and when his father pulled some strings and had him assigned to the Nalarthotep, no one complained. As the day of the flight comes near, Captain West inspects his ship over and over again. Nothing must go wrong. He also goes over the crew manifest. Within the crew are many factions, as always happens when people from different walks of life are recruited for a single mission. On the command side of the ship, there was a flight crew, including himself and Arkham, as well as pilots, flight engineers, all hand-picked by West, and all very reliable. Then there are the security, mostly ex-military, chosen for their loyalty and skill. They are there to keep the peace aboard the ship and protect the settlers once the ship makes planetfall. Also, there is a military liaison assigned from the government. His name is General Obadiah Marsh. Captain West thinks he might be a pain in the backside, but he'll deal with that if the time comes. Then there are the settlers, who are a mixed bunch of scientists, engineers, survivalists, needed to settle the new planet. As with any civilian population, meeting their demands will be giving West a headache for the years to come. The Nalarthotep sits in Earth orbit. Slowly, everyone boards. It's not as large as the Phoenix was before it, since its flight time will be significantly less. This ship is still a wonder, however, the Arkham drive taking up half of its entire bulk. The buzz on the ship is of excitement and some apprehension. John Arkham is walking around trying to get used to the ship's maze-like structure and all the people within it. The crew areas are separate from the civilian quarters, so he is enjoying the relative quiet of the crew mess when a beautiful woman walks in.
Mind if I sit here, sir?
No, not at all.
Dyer, sir. Security team.
Nice to meet you, Dyer. And please stop calling me sir. My name is John.
Dyer just nods as she starts to eat. She is dressed in a security uniform and definitely ex-military by her demeanor. Before Arkham can ask her any more questions, another man enters the mess. He is a tall and distinguished older gentleman in a dress uniform, and Arkham immediately recognizes him as General Marsh. Dyer jumps up and salutes the general. It startles Arkham since he isn't military, and no one salutes around here. He'll have to have a word about this to the captain. Arkham stands to greet the man.
At ease. Ah, you must be Commander Arkham.
The general extends his hand to Arkham without giving Dyer another look. Arkham immediately takes a dislike to the general.
I've been hoping to have a little chat with you, my boy. I have some ideas about this mission I'd like to discuss.
Arkham doesn't get a chance to say anything when another Weasley man enters the mess.
Sir, you have a meeting with the head of the Farmers Co-op in 10 minutes.
Yes, Delapore. I'll be there shortly. Commander Arkham, I'll be seeing you.
With that, the general marches out, followed by his incipient manservant, Delapore. Arkham looks over Dyer, who has retaken her seat.
Don't ever do that again.
Sorry?
Don't salute that man, and spread the word to the rest of the SEC team not to either. He has no rank here. He's an advisor only.
Dyer just looks at Arkham, and then she smirks ever so slightly. She's going to like this assignment.
Furthermore, I want you to be my link to the SEC team. I don't like how that general smiles. It's a little too wolfish for my tastes. Do you think you could do that for me?
Yes, sir. John. I think I can handle that.
Arkham nods and smiles, and gets up to leave. Dyer watches him go and thinks she would definitely like working here. The day of the Nalarthotep's launch is a worldwide holiday. Celebrations take place around the world. On board, the crew are running around, checking and rechecking everything. Down in the civilian areas, people are getting everything stowed away and prepared to blast off, so to speak. By all accounts, those who tested the Arkham drive, there is no blast or even feeling of motion. Just 1 second you're stopped, and the next you're traveling at light speed. The Prime Minister of Earth sent the Nalarthotep off with a long speech that neither the captain nor Arkham really had time to listen to. Neither had a head for politics. General Marsh, however, had listened intently to the PM's words. The moment had come. On the command deck, everyone took their places. Flight engineers made last-second checks, as did navigation. Captain West looked around his well-oiled machine and smiled. Arkham watched him and knew that they were in good hands.
Okay, people, this is what we've been waiting for. All areas are go, borders green. We have go-ahead from mission control. Looks like we're ready to do this.
The captain looks around one last time, all eyes on him. He gives a nod to Arkham, who nods back.
Helm, spool up the Arkham drive. Okay, Commander. Let's see if your dad's doohickey works. Engage.
The moment the ship hit light speed, the view outside the observation ports blurred into a streak of light and then goes black. At this speed, light isn't visible anymore. Immediately, everyone all over the ship cheers as they are instantaneously vaporized, which many feared. Now, after some celebration, of course, the next phase of the operation begins. The search and rescue of the Phoenix.
To be continued after the break.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Rob.
Funny meeting you here.
In the studio, in front of the mic. It's uncanny.
It's not a regular occurrence anymore. Ever since Studio H got shut down for, well, things.
Violations. Health code violations. You know how it is.
Ever since that happened, it's not been as regular.
Speaking of regular, you regularly update your Twitter account.
I call it our Twitter account because it's Vinland OTR.
And what does that stand for, Rob?
Vinland Old Time Radio. That's this little podcast we do. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Have not.
That's funny because you recorded. Oh, I didn't tell you were recording?
No, this is just me being me. Anyways, so if someone would want to follow your Twitter account.
Our Twitter account.
How would they do that?
At Vinland OTR.
Fantastic. And people who don't want to follow our Twitter account, who are on Twitter, you make baby Jesus cry. Live with that.
At Vinland OTR. 2 N's in Vinland. It's not Vineland, it's Vinland. If you can't spell, we don't want you.
The day that the Nalarthrotep was to reach the projected coordinates of the Phoenix quickly approached. Around the ship there is a feeling of organized chaos. The Arkham Drive experts checked the equipment they would use to retrofit the Phoenix's engines. That way they too could travel faster than light. The thought that the Phoenix might not be there when they reached the coordinates never entered anyone's minds. The Phoenix hadn't been heard from in almost 50 years. The chance of it surviving this long was slim, but no one even dared think of that. Over the weeks since the Nalarthrotep had left Earth's orbit, Arkham and Dyer had become fast friends. They spent their working time together trying to coordinate security teams and the command crew, and most of their off time together, hanging out. Some saw their relationship as more than just friends, but neither ever thought of it that way, at least not consciously. When the report of contact with an unknown object was sounded by the computers, Arkham was in charge of the bridge and Dyer was at his side. Arkham was getting a report from Dyer on the general morale of the crew. The captain had gone to take some rack time.
What do we have?
Dyer ran to check on the unknown object.
It looks big. It could be the Phoenix.
The chatter became audible on the bridge, and Arkham knew the news would be halfway around the ship by now. He motioned to the nearest ensign.
You, go get the captain. Helm, match speed, and prepare to intercept. Long-range scans try to confirm what we're seeing.
Before even the captain got to the bridge, General Marsh was there, followed by De La Poer, slinking close behind. He wouldn't miss this publicity shot for the world. Arkham ignored the general, as he had been doing since that first meeting in the mess hall. Word had gotten to the general that it was Arkham who had told the security team not to salute him anymore, and as far as Marsh was concerned, that put him in his bad books.
Where is the captain?
He's on his way.
Should he be here for this?
I said he's on his way. Dyer, any more on that object?
It's definitely powered. No response to hails yet.
Just then, Captain West rushes onto the command deck.
What have we got, John?
We think it's them, sir.
The captain just nods. Over the past weeks, he has begun to respect his second-in-command, and even like the junior officer. He is glad that even though Arkham was forced upon him, this young officer seems to be the right fit for the job.
Sir, we're receiving a hail. Audio only, though.
Put it through.
Through the hiss of deep space interference, a voice can be distantly heard.
Weekly repeat. Who is this? Identify yourself immediately or suffer the consequences.
Arkham had moved to stand beside Dyer and check out the readings from the scans when a message came through.
Consequences?
Dyer just shrugs. The Phoenix was not equipped with any offensive armament when it was sent out, nor had the Nalarthotep for that matter. Maybe it was an idle threat by the Phoenix.
This is the Earth Alliance ship Nalarthotep. We've been sent to rendezvous with you, Phoenix. You've been missing for some time. Do you have video to send us?
The pause after Captain West's message seemed like an eternity. Everyone of the Nalarthotep bridge was waiting for any response. This ship had been out on its own for quite some time, and they never imagined another ship would catch up to them, so the idea that the Phoenix crew would be a little off was to be expected. Eventually, the voice on the other end of the comm responded.
Our communication array was damaged some time ago. Please prepare to dock with us. We're sure there is a lot to discuss between us.
And with that, the communication was cut off.
Pleasant, isn't she?
We don't know what they've been through. Cut the chatter.
Arkham, prepare a party to meet the Phoenix. You'll lead it.
Captain, that is not what we decided. A delegation has already been prepared for the official meeting.
The captain looks from the general to Arkham. Arkham had never seen apprehension in the captain's eyes before. He was afraid of something. He just nods, and Marsh goes off to organize the meeting.
John, a word.
Arkham follows the captain into his office.
Is something wrong, sir?
I don't like how this feels. Something is off here. I want you to keep an eye on how things go over there. If I give the signal, you make sure you seal those doors and get the Nalarthotep out of here.
But, Captain...
John, promise me.
Arkham nods. He thought the captain was being overly cautious, but now he too has apprehensions. The crew of the Phoenix are bound to be a little squirrely after 50 years in space, but everyone on that ship, when it left Earth, was screened for mental acuity, although by now it would be their children who were running the show. The captain dismissed Arkham and was left with his own thoughts. Arkham took his position at the bridge, and Dyer made her way over.
So what do you think?
Not you two. I'm sure it'll be fine. Have a sec team positioned near the airlock just in case, though.
I thought so.
After a few more hours, the two massive ships matched speed. The time for the coupling had come. Arkham manned the Nalarthotep's bridge. General Marsh and Captain West stood at the airlock to go and meet the Phoenix. Hidden from view, Dyer was ready with a sec team just in case. The two ships shuddered as they connected, and a bridge was extended from the Nalarthotep to the Phoenix. The airlock doors open, and the entourage from the Nalarthotep make their way onto the Phoenix. They are met by a beautiful woman. She is obviously who they spoke to over the comms.
Welcome to the Phoenix.
We're glad to have found you, Otier. Back home, most people feared you were lost when your signal ceased sending.
She ignores what the captain has been saying and looks over the group of people sent by the Nalarthotep. She then looks back at the captain.
I'm afraid this just won't do. There are far too many of you. We are cautious people. I'm afraid this many new faces might not go over well. Captain, if you and a few of the representatives would come this way, the rest of you may go back to your ship.
Among those she has told to go back is General Marsh. His face grows red with anger at being dismissed so readily.
Now look here, Missy.
His words are cut off as she spins and looks at the general with such a gaze. He immediately backs down, and the captain gets even more nervous. Captain West feels it less and less likely this will turn out well. The remaining guests make their way onto the Phoenix. Arkham begins to get nervous as the radio silence grows. He heads down to the airlock to wait for the captain's return.
It's been an hour with no word. What are we going to do?
I don't know.
Arkham's thoughts are interrupted by a commotion inside the passage between the ships. Arkham opens the airlock just as a crewman bursts past him.
They're insane! Seal it! Seal it before they come.
Some of Dyer's team restrain the frantic crewmen while the rest make their way across the bridge towards the Phoenix. Just then, Arkham's comm activates.
John, listen to me. Blow the bridge and get the Lanarthotep out of here. There.
The comm cuts off and Arkham is faced with a dilemma and no time to think. His instincts say to get every able-bodied man and woman with a weapon up here and charge the other ship, but the captain made his orders clear. A few more seconds and Dyer will be across the bridge and the decision will be made for him. But he can't risk the settlers or the mission.
Dyer, pull back. We're leaving.
Dyer looks back shocked, but follows orders. She pulls her team back across the bridge. And just when they clear their own doors, the Phoenix airlock opens. From the other ship boards a group of people that Arkham cannot forget. They all wear identical white clothes like the woman who met them. But they have a look in their eyes of pure hatred and insanity. They swing makeshift weapons, but Arkham also can see blasters in the mix. He slams the door button, and the airlock seals just as the first shots are fired.
Hell, retract the bridge attaching us to the Phoenix and get us out of here.
We cannot disengage, sir. We're stuck together. They've somehow sealed the bridge on their end.
Arkham is at a loss as he hears the banging on the airlock door and the maddened faces on the other side of the porthole.
We're getting reports of some kind of grappling system coming from the other ship, securing us to them. They've modified the Phoenix, John.
Dyer sounds genuinely scared. Arkham doesn't know what to do. He is at a loss. Everyone demands that he tell them what to do next. Finally, Dyer's voice snaps him to attention.
John, what are your orders?
Arkham is now in command of a besieged ship and has lost contact with his CO. He has no idea what to do.
Tune in for the next episode.
Hello, my adoring fans. This is Captain Courage. And with me is Kid Crustacean. We're doing a commercial for my show, Captain Courage's Comedy Cavalcade. Please tell me, what do you think about the Captain Courage's Comedy Cavalcade? I concur. Ha ha! And we do have an email address. Please, tell me what that email address is one more time.
Captain?
What's that, Marty?
I'm afraid, Kid Crustacean's a little unintelligible.
Unintelligible? I can understand her, and I trust everyone else.
Captain? No, nobody else can.
No?
No, not at all.
Well, Marty, then do us all a favor. Tell us, what is the email address to contact me, Captain Courage?
Captain Courage's Comedy Cavalcade at gmail.com.
That makes a lot of sense, Marty. That makes a lot of sense. Anyway, thank you all once again. For myself, Kid Crustacean, signing off. Be safe out there, Courage Cadets.
Captain Courage, Captain Courage.